You've said the affirmations every single morning out loud, standing in front of the mirror, telling yourself you're abundant, that money flows to you easily and often, that you deserve more than you currently have. And your bank account still looks exactly the same as it did a month ago, maybe even a full year ago, no matter how consistent you've been. That's not proof manifestation is fake, and it's not proof you're saying the wrong words, using the wrong script, or simply not believing hard enough. It's proof you've been trying to change the outside while the inside stayed completely, quietly untouched the entire time, underneath all the repetition. There's a law that explains exactly why this keeps happening, and it comes straight from the Kybalion, one of the 7 core Hermetic principles, the principle of correspondence. As it is within, so it is without, a line quoted often, understood rarely. Your bank balance isn't a random number that life just hands you at the end of the month, disconnected from who you are. It's a mirror, reflecting back the identity you're currently holding about money, whether you consciously built that identity or simply absorbed it by accident over the years. Today, you're going to find the 3 specific, concrete signs that your inner identity is still out of sync with the money you say you want. Then you'll walk away with the exact practical exercise that starts closing that gap, starting today, not someday in the future. Step 1. Scarcity language. This is the first, easiest place the mismatch shows up, and most people never even hear themselves say it out loud, day after day. I can't afford that. Money's tight right now. That's just not for someone like me. Small phrases, said so casually and so often that they stop sounding like beliefs and start sounding like plain, boring, unquestionable facts. But the principle of correspondence doesn't care whether you meant it as a joke, a throwaway comment, or something you'd never say seriously to someone else. Every sentence you repeat is still a vote for the identity you're actively building, one careless, casual word at a time. Say, I can't afford that, often enough, in enough small situations, and your inner world quietly locks into the identity of someone who genuinely, structurally can't afford things. The outer world, simply following correspondence, agrees with what you've already decided about yourself, over and over, without you noticing the agreement. Notice something important here, before we go further. This isn't about forcing fake positivity or banning every negative thought that happens to cross your mind. It's about catching the sentence in the exact moment it appears, before it hardens into an identity you carry around without ever once questioning it. So here's your first move, and it takes almost no effort at all. For the next 24 hours, count how many times a scarcity phrase leaves your mouth out loud or inside your own head. Just count it. Don't judge yourself for it yet. Real awareness always has to come before change. Most people who actually try this small experiment are genuinely shocked by the number they end up with by the end of the day. 10, 20, sometimes far more than that, in a single, completely ordinary, unremarkable day. Each one of those small phrases is a correspondence signal, quietly telling reality exactly what kind of person it's dealing with, moment by moment, sentence by sentence. You don't fix this by white-knuckling the words or forbidding yourself from ever saying them again. which usually backfires and creates more tension anyway. You fix it by slowly becoming someone who genuinely no longer relates to lack in the first place, from the inside out. And that shift, real and lasting as it is, always starts with plain awareness, which is exactly what Step 1 just quietly handed you for free. Step 2. Self-sabotage behavior. This one hides inside your actions instead of your words, which makes it a lot easier to overlook entirely, sometimes for years. Avoiding your banking app for days at a time, sometimes stretching into weeks without a single check. Forgetting to look at the exact number you're secretly afraid of seeing on the screen. Or the opposite pattern, just as common. Money finally arrives, and within days it's already gone, spent fast on something that quietly relieves the discomfort of actually holding onto it. Both of these patterns come from the exact same underlying place. Your identity hasn't caught up yet to holding more money than it's historically used to holding. So, without ever asking your conscious permission, it finds a fast, efficient way to hand the excess back. This is correspondence, protecting your current self-image, not some cosmic punishment being handed down to you from somewhere above. The system is working exactly as it was designed to work. It's just still aimed at the old identity, not the new one you say out loud that you want. Think back to the last time money came in and then quickly went right back out again, almost as if on autopilot. What was the feeling in your body in the exact moment right before you spent it? Relief. Relief is the tell that almost everyone completely misses when they look back. Relief means some part of you, underneath the surface, was actually more comfortable without the money than it was while holding on to it a little longer. That relief is the exact internal state the principle of correspondence is mirroring back to you, dollar for dollar, decision for decision, day after ordinary day. Once you can name the sabotage pattern clearly, out loud, in plain, specific language, it loses most of the quiet power it used to hold over you unnoticed. Step 3. Your physical environment around money. Correspondence isn't only something happening internally, in your head. It shows up directly in the physical space you keep around you every day. A crumpled wallet stuffed in the bottom of a bag for months. Unopened bills quietly stacking up on the kitchen counter. A messy, avoided budget nobody in the house actually wants to open anymore. None of these small things cause poverty all on their own, and no one serious is claiming they do in isolation. But they're the outer, physical echo of an inner relationship with money that's been built almost entirely on quiet avoidance. Now, contrast that with how someone who already holds a genuinely wealthy identity tends to treat money physically on an average, completely boring day. Organized, respected, looked at directly, without flinching or glancing away. Even the way you casually talk about wealthy people in passing conversation is part of this same correspondence signal, whether you notice it happening or not. Constant resentment toward money, or toward people who have plenty of it, quietly keeps money at arm's length from you specifically. So look around right now, wherever you actually are while watching this video. Your wallet, your desk, the last bank statement you opened, or the one you deliberately didn't? Does what you're looking at right now resemble a space that genuinely respects money, or one that's been quietly avoiding it for weeks or even months? You don't need a perfect system, a fancy spreadsheet, or a complicated new app to fix any of this today. You need an environment that actually, visibly, matches the identity you say you're trying to grow into. 3 signs down, all 3 of them quietly pointing at the exact same underlying mismatch between inside and outside. Now for the part that actually closes the gap between the two. Step 4. The realignment exercise. This is the moment where correspondence stops being an interesting concept to think about and finally becomes something you actually practice today. Take 1 minute right now, pause the video if you genuinely need to, and write a single sentence that starts with, "I am someone who." Finish it, describing how you already handle money reasonably well, even in one small, unremarkable way. Not how you wish you would handle it someday, in some vague, imagined distant future version of yourself. How you already do handle it right now, even in one small, easy-to-overlook way most people would dismiss. I am someone who pays bills on time. I am someone who managed to save something last month, even a little. Start from what's actually, verifiably true, however small or unimpressive it feels to say out loud. This sentence becomes your correspondence anchor, solid, usable proof that your inner identity is already shifting, not just a hope that it might shift someday far away. Second part of the exercise. Pick one physical action today that visibly, obviously, matches that exact sentence you just wrote. Open the banking app. Straighten the wallet. Actually look at the number without flinching or looking away this time. The inner sentence and the outer action have to move together in the same direction, on the same day, not weeks or months apart from each other. That's correspondence in practice, not an affirmation repeated alone in a mirror with nothing behind it. Do this daily, even loosely, even imperfectly some days, and the mismatch you uncovered across steps 1 through 3 starts closing, one small proof at a time. One honest note here, worth saying clearly before we close. This isn't a financial plan, and it's not meant to replace budgeting, saving, or any real financial decision you still need to make carefully. It's the identity work, sitting quietly underneath all of that practical, necessary, unavoidable work. Once the inside genuinely matches, consistently, day after day, the outside has nowhere left to go but to eventually, reliably follow it. Notice what's actually changed by the end of this video, even before any new money has arrived. Not your income yet, necessarily. Your relationship to it, which is where every real, lasting shift has to start first. The scarcity language, the sabotage pattern, the avoided environment. You can name all 3 now, clearly and specifically, which means none of them get to keep running silently in the background of your life anymore. You don't need a better affirmation, a longer one, or a more poetic one written on a vision board somewhere. You need an identity that already, quietly matches what you keep asking for out loud every single morning. Pick step 1 and start today. Count the very next scarcity phrase the moment it slips out of you, out loud or in your head, without judging it. That single moment of noticing is where correspondence finally starts working for you, instead of quietly working against you, one sentence at a time.